Hi guys, Duncan here. I have news. Today, after almost quarter of a century of strumming away on the same old axe, I'm finally buying a new guitar. Am I excited? Heck yes. But I'm also feeling strangely guilty. In today's video, I'll be exploring these unexpected feelings of guilt and looking into the reasons why guitarists get so attached to our old instruments. If it can happen to Eric Clapton with Blackie, or to Brian May with his hand-built Red Special, complete with knitting needle tremolo arm, it can happen to any of us. So, why do guitarists become so attached to our battered old guitars? Even to the point of feeling ashamed about upgrading? Stay tuned to find out. I'm sure I'm not alone in feeling sentimentally attached to an instrument I've had for a long time, regardless of how good or bad it might be. It's like Linus with the blanket. It's like me when I was 12 years old and my mum asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I really wanted to say a Commodore Amiga because, back in the early 90s when 16-bit computers were, the thing. They really were great in terms of the graphics and sound compared to my limited old Spectrum 48K Plus. However, that didn't stop me being loyal to the Spectrum brand and insisting that I wanted a Spectrum Plus too. Fortunately, Mum and Dad had their way and I had the Commodore Amiga, which, to be fair, probably was the right shout. But nevertheless, the point remains, people can become attached to objects and things with which they have a long-standing relationship and mean something in their lives. Now, for us musicians, that's obviously particularly the case. I've been using this guitar ever since I took my first lesson with John Mills back in 1998 at the Welsh College of Music and Drama. Shut up, plough. After 25 years with this trusty old axe. Hello. I've used this in many gigs, much to the audience's annoyance, I dare say. It stepped in when my lovely Sanchez Carpio guitar suffered a vodka-related accident, which ended its life. I was playing this guitar when the only tune I knew was this. I value it for the mantra that my guitar repairer once told me: guitars are either built to last or they're built to sound nice. Well, we know which category you fall into, don't we? There is that sentimental attachment that is there for better or for worse. I mean, I think it's actually quite a nice human trait that we do have that capacity to value things that, in monetary terms or whatever, actually perhaps, or to other people wouldn't mean anything, but to us they are dear and special, if not even sacred. Perhaps the negative side of the sentimentality coin is that of familiarity. Now, am I just attached to this guitar because I know it so well and because I don't like change? And on the subject of not liking change, perhaps one thing that bonds me to this guitar psychologically is the fact that it provides an excuse for me being less than perfect. So if I'm not sounding great, or a video I've done on reflection doesn't really meet my satisfaction, I can always blame it on the instrument. I could always say, well, this is an old, battered, cheap guitar. If I had a £3,000 Ramirez, I would sound awesome. So it gives me an excuse for sucking, which perhaps I don't want to let go of. You know, if I did invest the money or rob a bank or whatever a classical guitarist would have to do to raise those kinds of funds, would I then make the unpleasant discovery that actually it's not you, it's me? We shall see, maybe. I was going to say on the other side of that coin, but we've already had two sides to the coin, and I've yet to find a three-sided coin. So what I will say is on the kind of reverse side of that, clinging on to an inferior quality instrument for fear of what I might find out about myself as a musician, there is also the counter ego sort of side to that, in that perhaps you can have the attitude that, oh well, I'm good enough that I can make even a sucky guitar sound great. I'll let you be the judge of that. One practical reason I've always been fond of this guitar is because it was modified to suit me after I sustained a potentially career-ending hand injury just shy of 20 years ago now. Still undiagnosed to this day. I'm very fortunate in that I can still play, but I do have an issue with extended bar chord passages. Anything that requires, you know, putting down heavy chords for an extended period of time, my muscle there, sort of in this area of my thumb, literally feels like it's gasping for air. There's instability of the thumb joint queried, muscle atrophy, all those kind of things. But basically, the long and short of it is, I struggle with guitars with normal or high action. So for example, the Allegro in the Barrios, there's so little respite from the bar chords that, oh, there, the relief. Anyway, so that basically did for me, and ever since then I've had to have very low actions on the guitar to be able to play at all, and because of that the tone suffers. So I think that's one reason I've held off all of these years on buying another, is because, well, why invest more money in a better quality instrument if I'm just going to have to sacrifice its tone by lowering the action anyway? There's also the issue of it providing a USP, or unique selling point in marketing jargon. You know, I can be different from all those other guitarists who play their expensive, gorgeous sounding instruments. You know, this can be my unique selling point. I don't quite know how I would sell that as an advantage, but it just could be like one of those quirks that you're known for, like being bald. I don't know. But this could be my quirk, my USP. I do feel guilty as a family man about the prospect of spending more money on a better quality instrument when, you know, in our family and in our home there are other more practical and altruistic uses that money could go towards. So I find myself at a crossroads. Do I stay or do I go? That was a song, wasn't it? Should I stay or should I go? Well, this is kind of like a breakup song, really, isn't it? You know, maybe this is our farewell moment. Although, to be more accurate, I suppose you'd have to describe it as a leaving one lover, but keeping the other in reserve in case first choice is out of action. Because you would be the spare, wouldn't you? Not sure what that makes me, but there you go. Anyway, so those are some of my feelings about this conundrum. I guess the purpose of this video is just to get that out there, to get those feelings out, and to ask whether other musicians have experienced this sort of sentimental attachment to an old instrument, even if it's perhaps not the best. And I don't mean to diss the manufacturers of these guitars. You know, it is a student model, it is not an expensive professional guitar. I have butchered it by, you know, really filing the bridge down to, you know, way below where it should be to allow me to be able to physically play it. Nevertheless, let me know your thoughts, or if you've ever found it difficult to part ways with an old guitar, or even any other item from your past, like a Spectrum 48K or a Commodore Amiga, or well, After that, I'm sure you were simply itching to know whether or not I went ahead and bought that new guitar. Did he stay or did he go? For the answer, and for all manner of other guitars and giggles, please subscribe and don't forget to hit that bell icon for notifications. Ta-ta for now.